If you ever want to be a great reader of body language and you want to use all the fancy tricks that are presented on internet, you gotta realize that the best signs, the most valuable signs are usually the biggies, the simplest, the most boring ones. They bring the most messages, like they bring like 80 to 90% of all the messages that you need to comprehend and you need to work with. There are no the bullshits like nostril flares and eyelid raises or squinting the eyes, stuff like that. I mean, they work, but show me someone who observes that the nostril flare is that small movement that I have never observed that. I've been observing people for like last 10 years, and I've never noticed that in a person that I don't know. The only person I have noticed nostril flares is my wife, because we spend so much time together and I know her that well. I have never ever used that in real life. I've seen that on video. I passed the test on a facial action coding system to notice these movements, but in real life it's nothing. The same like eyelid raises. It's such a small movement that there is no point of hoping in them and learning that in the first place. But the biggies, the most boring signs, like for example the stance, I strongly believe, and I am sure about that you've noticed how the person stands and it transmitted some message, it carries some message. You notice that you confronted the person about that, like when, for example, your partner and he or she stood like this and was really sad but were looking away, the macro signs of her body told the message that not everything's alright. And these signs, the most boring ones, the biggest ones, are the ones that you want to master and that you need to master if you want to use body language as a skill in everyday life. Don't waste your time on learning these tiny micro tells, because I guarantee you, if you are not very skilled observer of body language, never ever going to use these signs. Please learn the biggest signs first and get the habit of observing them and let them impact your behavior towards the person that you are talking to. When you notice an angry person who's having all the angry body language, angry stance, angry face, angry, standing like this, and you start finding out whether their nostril flares. There's no point of doing that, but when you have that skill, when you are a skilled observer, it's a great, like, the cherry on the top of the cake. But please learn the most boring, the most obvious, the signs that you already know, but make a skill out of that. Make a habit of observing and taking a message out of these signs. And I guarantee you will be like 80%, 90% better communicator and better at observing body language. When you realize you should get some message out of that and to act upon the messages that you are observing. This is why we are studying body language. That is why we are observing people, to get a message, to adjust our behavior. If you are doing it for any other reasons, well, please be my guest and learn all these small things, but they won't help, they won't improve your life that much as the biggest signs. The biggest signs are observable every day in every person. Every person has a mood, every person feels down sometimes, and when you are able to see that, God, you will be great conversationalist. You will be great with people because you will see how they feel by the huge signs and by respecting them and by knowing that they really transmit a valuable message. That's it from me. See you next time, guys. Bye.